corpse, were promptly arrested.
2, 1, I believe. Yes, okay, I think we're on. Yeah, we are.
Hi, everyone. Wow. Welcome to D20 Air, where we roll dice before our internet goes out or there's some kind of technical issue, which we have a lot. My name is Kate. I'm the DM.
Oh my god, sorry to say this again. I'm Alice. I play Tam, the half-orc bard.
My name's Jess. I forgot the order. My name is Jess. I'm aware of that. And I'm Nora, the human wizard.
My name is Jules, and I play Ren, the Elven Ranger.
My name is Miller, and I play Augie, the human paladin. And Maddie, who's usually here, plays Val, the tiefling druid. Yes.
Wow, this is so exciting. Wow. Okay. I'm like trying to say words, but I can't because I'm just smiling. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. We don't really have any announcements other than, hey, what's up? It's been a while. But we're really excited to be here and that almost all of our schedules finally matched up and but you know what? That's kind of D&D culture is you play for a while and then there's very long spans of time where you don't play and you know, it's fine. It's all good. It's fun. Okay. The one thing I will say is I did not look at last session, so I think I remember where we left off. But we'll see. We might do some flubbing. It'll be fine. It'll be so good. Does anybody have anything that they want to say before we get started?
Yep.
I think a bunch of us are just like a little sick, so it'll be fine.
Also, we might have forgotten who our characters are and how to do our respective accents. So
that's a good point. Before we
only
start,
apologize
I'm
for
gonna
that.
go get my dice because I remember that dice is a thing that you need in this
I
game.
know dice either. Good point.
Oh my
Cool.
god.
We know what we're doing.
Also, I'm just hanging out.
Yes.
I'm chilling.
CT, maybe I'll just make you just be an NPC or something. Chilling.
Also, the live announcement is up, so good to go.
Yeah. I'm good with all these.
Yeah.
All right, everyone have dice and have
Yes.
stuff to get started. Okay. So, I believe last we left off, our intrepid band of adventurers experienced the amalgamation, which seems to be a cross of the prime material plane and the Feywild into one strange prime Fey plane, where both are coexisting at the same time. After dealing with the aftermath and things surrounding that in the town of Valashi, they were notified of by their friend and kind of boss Nali of a contact that they had up in the Cantale region named Oliver, who didn't appear to be responding to any messages or sending or any form of contact. And knowing that Oliver may be one of the most tasked person to kind of figure out what is happening with this whole situation. But before that, their friend, Gilf, ran over telling them that another of their friends had been kidnapped, ransacked, not really sure of what, finding a secret tunnel underneath the house. They went and explored, whereupon there was some interesting writings on the wall. They fought a gelatinous cube, which took them a surprising a lot to deal with, surprisingly. A couple different things, and then resorting in finding a ritual put on by a vampire, draining the blood of their friend. The vampire was able to escape, barely scratched, I don't think hurt at all, actually, and just able to continue on his way, leaving the party to scramble back up to the house and kind of get some peace and recuperation. So, with the exception of one, Augie, did I have you? I think I made you roll that for that second. You have 2 exhaustion points, right?
Yes, I do.
My
Did I
God,
make you roll? I
Mila.
think I made you roll that second time, so I think that'll be we'll say that you wake up in the morning with the 2 exhaustion points.
Cool.
Ren didn't sleep either, so he has 1 exhaustion point. He was still
Great.
sort of like fading off of the charm person / vampire thrall.
Ah, yes. Okay, great. So let me just
You may have to remind me what exhaustion does.
yeah, I got you here. Let me get out my other notes, because I'm gonna just make sure that I'm aware of that and note that.
Oh, D&D Beyond actually. Wow, good job, D&D Beyond.
Has an exhaustion.
Yeah, they have a
Yes.
little chart.
Level 1, disadvantage on ability checks. Level 2,
Yes.
speed halved.
I was gonna say you are yeah.
Great.
Disadvantage
Okay,
on ability checks, please. What?
Have we just woken up from a long rest, or
Yes.
nice?
Yeah, we slept in. I've forgotten all the characters' names. I want to say halloumi, but I think that's a kind of food.
Louis.
wait.
Harundi. We slept
Harundi,
in her
Harundi.
flat. Yes. Shut up.
Oh my God! Can we rename her
Yes.
Louis?
Harundi is
Is that a
Tony's
cheese?
sister.
What is that?
Yes,
It is a cheese.
Ooh, yeah, we're doing good so far. So you wake up the next morning in Harundi and Gilf's home. Well, 3 of you wake up. Four of you, because Gilf's technically there as well. 2 of you not sleeping. Oh, that's right. We left it with Ren's charm person finally wearing off as the vampire kind of was like, okay, I'm done now. Takes it off.
Alright.
All right. So, you, having just saved your friend, you have a task before you of traveling to find this potentially missing person, potential issue. So, what would you guys like to do?
How much do we have on us in terms of like sort of food, etc.? Would we have to like stock up?
You guys can spend like the next, I'd say, if you want to spend like the day that you have in front of you just preparing, getting supplies. Normally what would take you only a few hours to get, it'll probably take you a large portion of the day due to the fact of Velashi's resources being drained primarily towards emergency, like crisis kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Okay.
Should we enter
So-
Tyrone?
What?
Should we anti-Ren if he's not already anti?
I mean, you can if you want.
Nah, we'll leave him there.
Is he still under whatever? Okay, thank God.
It
Okay.
just
I mean, you
faded.
can make an insight check.
Could somebody please untie me? Oh, just cut some. I know you guys have knives. Come on. One of you. Come on, please.
How do we know you're not still under his spell?
I don't know how to convince you of that, but I am not. I don't know.
Make an insight check, Augie.
Cool. Disadvantage.
At disadvantage because you're exhausted.
That's gonna be
Oh, what? 8?
You're
I
muted.
mean, Ren's a little aloof and in general, but like a little hard to read, but for the most part seems forthright.
okay. Kind of very cautiously, I'm gonna take my dagger out. Just
I squint at Ren and I'm like, your hair isn't even that shiny today.
It's always shiny. Excuse
Yes,
me.
definitely him.
All right. So, collecting yourself, collecting your belongings, collecting what's left of your dignity with Ren. You spend the day kind of getting food, supplies, preparing for this journey. Nolly comes and gives you all during this time a letter, and she says, "This is for entrance to Caraval. I don't know how forthcoming they will be with allowing entrance, but well, hopefully this will help a little."
Do you know anyone in particular there? Like, that we can, if we get into trouble, which we might.
you will.
I would recommend not getting into trouble. You see, with Valashi, we have a much more democratic system, whereas there it's ruled by quite an, pardon the pun, iron fist. I don't know how much I would say with my contacts, seen as, well, I don't know the state of things over there right at the moment. But you can go, and if there is a thing and you have absolutely nowhere to go, you can go to the Order of the Birds. They're a bit difficult to find, but I'm sure if you ask around, you may be able to discover some things.
Sounds good.
What is the Order of the Birds exactly?
The Order of the Birds is sort of a, I would not necessarily spies, but they know a lot about the secrets and inner workings of the general place. They're not exactly spies. You need to be sneaky for that, but they have a lot of information. They generally know what's going on around the city. And I would, seeing as there are those of you with ties to other places, I would steer clear of the monarchy, if at all possible. Just a note. Don't know how kindly they would take, but honestly, for if you're heading to Cantale, you should just be passing through. It's about 2 weeks travel from here to Oliver's, I would say, workshop location, home. You'll understand when you see it, but I would recommend if at all possible. Just kind of get in there as quick as you can. I would greatly appreciate it at the very least.
I'm gonna lean over to Augie and be like, do we still have our... What mode of transport do we have? I've completely forgotten.
I think we still have our graphs, don't we?
You have giraffes.
Okay, we still have them?
Yeah, do we have our
You have-
beetles?
Did you get the beetle?
We didn't get...
No, we didn't.
No.
No. I was like, I don't think you got the beetles. You have your giraffes. You have Ren's animal. You have a dog. And Val kind of perks up and says, hey, I mean, if you guys need something, I can maybe try and, I don't know, polymorph or something if we really need it. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I mean, like, we do have the giraffe, so just, I don't know. Figured I'd offer.
Right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I say we take the giraffes and our carts.
Yeah.
Yes, you do also have a cart.
Yeah.
2 giraffes, a cart, a dog, and a polymorphable druid.
I mean, yeah.
Is there any way for us to sort of try and not disguise our cart, but right now is the cart is it just us sitting on the outside? It's just there's no roof or anything, just us on a cart.
Yeah, it's effectively it's like almost like a dice tray with one of the sides just open with wheels. Yeah. Like it's this on wheels.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Then on that, should we try to, I don't know, not disguise ourselves, but be a little more discreet if it's even possible?
I will say that the giraffes might draw some attention that you may not necessarily be wanting. Not quite a lot of people have giraffes pulling carts, but I don't know, Carvel. Maybe they seem weirder. They tend to be pretty uptight there, though.
We worked so hard to get those giraffes that we're not leaving them behind.
Oh, I love them. Don't get me wrong.
Not.
I just
Perhaps
Maybe
it would
if
be
you want to-
wise. I mean, maybe we could leave them and rent some horses. Is that a thing people do? Could people rent horses?
We could exchange them for some horses and then return the horses and get our giraffes back after however long.
Like a giraffe deposit.
Like
sort
a pawn shop, but for four-legged animals.
Yeah. Should we try it? They're probably more valuable.
Hey, is there anywhere where we can get an animal pawn shop?
Anyway.
I mean, you could go back to the same. It's Phantasmal Force Pet Shop.
You didn't have me.
Shit again.
No way.
You actually, Nolly pipes up and she goes, I mean, I do have a horse, and I'm sure if I asked my brother, he'd be willing to let you borrow his as well. Loris is quite protective of his horse, but I'm certain if you could manage to take good care of them, wouldn't be a problem for...
We take great care of our animals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt that, and kind of gives a little scritch to PB&J.
Well, if you don't mind asking him, then that would be very helpful.
Yes, he's not in the best of moods today, but I can see if I can butt him up and see if he'll let us. So you all spend the rest of the day getting your foods and rations and stuff. Were you interested in putting a thing over the cart?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Or, because, yeah, just even like try to make some kind of structure to make it
You know
so
those
there's
like
a roof.
those canvas covers?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We got it.
Like going down the Oregon Trail?
Well, yeah, pioneer.
Yes.
Ren will make sure that we have enough food for 2 horses and a stag. Animal food.
Aminal food. Okay. So I'd say spending the rest of the day getting the necessary wood and canvas covering. Are you going to try and do this yourself, or are you going to task a artisan to do this? Or
You know what? Let me just check how much money I have lost, and then I will see. You know what? I'm gonna try and do it myself. Why not?
okay. Make a dexterity check.
Mm-hmm.
And this is at disadvantage because you are exhausted, unless anyone wants to help.
Dexterity. That is going to be a hot 8.
8. So, you guys come back to the cart after doing some shopping and supplies, kind of runs, and you come back and there's some stuff. There's canvas. There's wood. You can tell that effort was made. Not really sure how. It's kind of like it. You kind of tried for the dome, but it's kind of just like 3 pieces of wood. Like it kind of looks like a square. It might hold up in weather and stuff. You're not quite sure. Get the feeling that maybe going really fast in this cart might cause some structural damage to the system that you've made here, but it looks like it will work for keeping out rain potentially.
When Augie's not looking, can Ren try to sort of fix it just a little bit? Just like when Augie's like going and getting his supplies ready, Ren will just be like, don't tell them.
Make a dexterity check at disadvantage
Yeah,
because
I also
you are
have
also
disadvantage, so this
exhausted.
probably won't be great. But you know, I have high dex. 8 also. I rolled a 3.
You start going and start to do stuff, and then you see it kind of wobble, and you're kind of like, if you get the feeling that if you try to fix it at all, it's just going to all come tumbling down. You're just like, I'm just not going to touch it.
When Ren has gone, can Tam go over and be like, oh, Jesus, and try and fix it as well?
Make a dexterity check.
That is amazing.
I'm going to say you have it at disadvantage because the fact that those 2 already tried it and...
Right, okay. That's a 7.
7. Okay.
So great.
You go and you're kind of trying to fix it a little, and you hear a little like, and you see the bottom where it's starting to wither. There's a little tear, and you just.
I back away very slowly.
Should I try just to complete this cycle?
This is gonna be a disadvantage with a higher fire.
Let's see how this goes.
Or not a higher modifier, with a higher
DC.
DC.
Oh, 9?
Okay. It doesn't fall down, but you go and you try and fix it, and you hear like a, and there's a little, whereas the first time it was kind of looked very rudimentary, kind of kiddish. Now there's one part that it's just kind of sunken in just a little bit on the top, and you're like, ah.
I meant to do that.
It's a great start, guys.
Right.
You're muted, Jules.
I made some quips about modern art. Anyway,
Yes, you get the feeling that if this were in a museum, it would sell for about $12,000.
very, very nice.
Not like higher end of modern art scale, but not like,
it was worth the materials. What time of day roughly is it? It was sort of morning when we started, but we've been doing a lot of
I'd
shit.
say it's about 5, 6 in the afternoon at this point I'll say, by the way, all the supplies and materials, I put you back at about 2 gold for
2 gold each.
for all of it. For
Each?
food, unless you're looking for like good, nice food, quality food, like we're just looking for kind of like cans and kind of on the road food, horse
I
food,
think-
like everything got 2 gold.
Basics is fine. Once everyone's sort of back and gathered, we'll be like, should we maybe take one more night before we head out? Seems kind of dumb to head out right at sunset. May as well stay in town for the evening. What do you think?
Or maybe night might be the best time to leave. It's discreet.
Are we worrying about discretion in Vashi?
No, but yeah.
Just a note to remind you that due to the Feywild and Prime Material Plane amalgamation, there isn't necessarily daytime and nighttime. Even night, it doesn't get like super extremely dark. There is, it's almost, I would describe it as like, I don't know if it's Greenland that this happens, but those days where it like the sun is up for 3 days, where it goes high in the sky and then low in the sky, but it never fully sets.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess the time is arbitrary everywhere, but especially here. So, yeah, I guess we're just all very well. I'm very tired, but it's fine. I guess we just go. Let's just go.
Let's just do it.
All right.
You're going to travel through the night?
Oh, actually, can we travel for a few hours and then like bed down at like 10 p.m. or something?
That.
Is that all right? Just get to like the outskirts of Lashy.
Okay. Is that okay?
Oh, were you asking me? I thought you were.
Oh no, I was asking the group.
character.
Oh, okay. Well then, yes. That sounds great. Eye contact is hard in Skype.
Yes.
All right. So you guys decide to set off around dusk, but it's always dusk, so that doesn't really mean anything. And continue for a few hours until, I mean, Augie and Ren, you're already very, very tired, but the rest of you start to feel, it's the tired that you just can feel, like the under parts of your eye.
Hate that. Cool. Anything dramatic happen?
You guys set up camp. Are people taking watches?
Yeah.
I mean, would you guys like anything to? Would you guys like to talk about anything, discuss anything,
Maybe.
do anything before going to bed?
Yeah, so maybe as we're sort of bumbling around getting our camp set up, I'll sort of bump shoulders with Augie and say like, "Hey, you seem a little off at the moment. Is something good?"
Yeah, just I kept waking up and then falling asleep last night, so I didn't really get a lot of rest.
You know where that is? In some bad dreams or something.
This is weird, right? All of this.
Thing? This is very strange. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I could, before this, it's like, I could vaguely see kind of where I was going and heading, and, you know, I was scared because, oh no, you know, when they had gone to my dad or something, but at least we knew, at least it was somewhat normal. Now, I mean, sun's not even setting. It's just a lot, I guess.
Yeah, it is. I think we've been through enough that sometimes we forget that it's bizarre. The things we do are bizarre. The things we see are bizarre. We've sort of conditioned ourselves to think that we should be able to just take it, but sometimes we can't, and that's okay. Yeah. I don't think this is something that anyone really expected, except the people who made it happen. So, you know, it's okay to be shaken.
Yeah. I mean,
If you want help sleeping, I used to have trouble meditating when I was a child, and my mother, I mean, she was terrible, but she did do this thing for me where I would put my head in her lap, and she would just like stroke my hair and like braid it. And so I don't know, when I'm trying to comfort someone, that's sort of the first thing that I do. It's not that I've done much of it, but yeah. Anyway, if you're trying to sleep tonight, I can do that for you for a little while because I don't need much sleep. Just let me know.
thanks. I was gonna put his head in Red's lap just immediately
Okay.
and just
His
immediately go to sleep.
his hair isn't super long, so like Ren doesn't try to braid it, but he'll just sort of like, you know, like give him a nice little like gentle head massage sort of thing and try and like soothe him to sleep.
I'll do that in like 5 seconds. He just kind of collapses in Ren's lap.
Ren does not move for the rest of the night. I think Ren like might be able to meditate just sort of like cross-legged, so we're gonna try. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so is anybody doing watches or you good, Jess?
What did you say?
Oh, continue anyway.
Should we take first watch if they're like
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're not
head stroking?
Val goes, I'll take one. You know.
Alright. About 1 second.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Nice.
Cool. Okay. So you guys do your watches. Nothing really happens. A dreamless night for all of you. When you Ren, roll a d20 for me.
Just to see if I could meditate. Sure.
Yeah, just a d20.
20.
Wow.
I'm meditating so good.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, Ren, you wake up the next morning, and at this point, you look down. You have not moved from your spot, and surprisingly enough, like there's no like crick in your neck. There's no nothing. Like you had a really great night's sleep, and you look down and you just see Augie just like absolutely sprawled over
Damn
you.
it.
Probably that was you. Yeah, I didn't mean to, but I guess like probably like just absolute like hug around like your waist, just like snoring very like nuts. Augie, do you snore?
I feel like Augie snores.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the
All right,
loudest
definitely
snorer.
like snoring, little bit of like dried drool, just like on the corner of the mouth.
Ren's just still
so
not
yeah.
gonna move. It's like when you get a cat on your lap. Like Ren is not gonna move until this boy wakes up.
All right. Yeah, so Ren and Augie, you can both take a point of exhaustion off. Ren, you still or not Ren, sorry. Augie, you still have disadvantage on all ability checks, but your speed is back to normal. Still really tired, but like, so you guys wake up in the morning. You have to physically wake up Augie. Like, you kind of give him some time, but after a while,
I
you're
blow
like,
a penny
okay.
whistle in his ear. Rise and shine.
Sleep well?
Actually, yeah. Thanks.
It's like magic, isn't it?
Yeah, is that like an actual spell or something?
I don't think so. I think it's just a nice thing.
Thanks.
God, this party is so damaged.
We're all so starved.
We're yet so touch-starved, desperate for any kind of affection. They're just like,
Is this magic? No, it's just a mother's love.
So I'm gonna skip ahead. You guys start to go traveling. I'm gonna skip ahead about 4 days of traveling. Is there anything? Can someone just roll me a navigation check?
I can do that.
What is navigation?
That might be another RPG system. I've been playing a different
I
RPG
think it is.
system.
Is it like
Yeah,
survival?
let's do survival. Yes. Sorry. Ugh,
That's
guys, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
that's a 10.
nice.
What was it?
10.
10? Okay. That's not anything to get you seriously lost, but it's not anything to double your speed either. It's you continue down the road, I'm assuming. Oh, that's a good point, actually. I would like to know how would you like to get there? So let me pull this out.
Nobody got the map. Do you guys have a map in the chat? I can send it super fast.
So
I'll send a picture.
where you're trying to go. It's about like it's pretty much like the middle of Cantale. You're down in Valachi, so you need to go through Carval no matter which way you go, but you can either go there by following the river and follow it up along the border of Clea and then over. You can go through the middle of Carval, which will be a little bit longer in the city, but then it's pretty much a straight shot. Can do a mixture of the two. If you want, you can go over to this one and through Gar as well. Follow along this river. It's really up to you guys. There's a main road that in Valashi that follows the river, and then up through Caraval is different. But you can also continue following the river or follow. There's a main road that leads.
Okay, obviously, like, things have changed since the amalgamation, but, like, what would we know about Caraval? Like, is it particularly dangerous? Is it, like, is it silly?
History check. I will say, if you want to join in on that, I'll give you advantage just because it is bordering Clea.
Okay, alright. Wow, okay, well, that's a 3.
Wait, but Augie, I just realized you're at disadvantage too, so it would just be a straight roll.
So
If
can
you
Augie
wanna do
roll
it.
as well?
3? Yeah, Augie can roll as well. It would just be a straight roll for Augie. 3.
History?
Yeah.
That is 11.
Okay. You know that Tam, Caraval sounds like carnival. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
about all you know.
Yeah.
You think that, like, I think, is it Quinby? Yeah, you think you remember that Quinby's from there.
Okay. That's
Everyone
about
else
as far
is
as I get
paused.
before I stop thinking about
Yeah.
it entirely.
And then you're like, yeah, that's it. Like, everything else is kind of dry to blank. Augie, you know that their main exports tend to deal with more mechanical stuff. So they tend to deal a lot with more industrial things by way of blacksmiths and kind of more metal, steel. They do a lot of weapon exportation. That is a large part of their stuff. They also are the leading manufacturers, and they have a lot of inventors. Wow, and lots of things of that sort. You've never
Okay.
actually been yourself. Given that you weren't allowed to go out quite that often, especially not to other places. But that's mostly.
Okay.
So,
I
guys have-
will relay that information.
do you guys have an idea of which route you would like to take? Like, if you'd like to follow the river, if you'd like to go by way of, like, going around to Gar, if you'd like to travel through Caraval.
I mean, again, it's very hard to decide these things with the amalgamation, probably having changed a bunch of things on the way, but I tend to trust natural paths as opposed to, like, the main road. So maybe the river?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I agree.
I will note this river, just so you know, it comes through Caraval, and then it forms the border between Cantale and Clea.
Yeah.
Do you think
It
that's
would be
good.
right along Clea.
Do you think
Just
that's
so-
tempting fate, Augie, or do you think we'll be okay?
I think we should be fine. I traveled through there before, briefly when I first left, so I have an idea of the area. And honestly, I kind of just want to get a little closer to there, just so I can find out some information about what it's been like over the past few months.
I know I'd rather go somewhere, a route that one of us has gone before, so at least we kind of know what the score is. If we go through Caraval, then we have no idea.
Girl kind of pipes up and says, "Hey, yeah, my town's kind of near the river. That could be cool. We could go up. I think it's a little bit past where we're trying to go, but we could go up there."
Yeah.
If you want to check in on your people, then yeah, we can make that
Yeah,
start.
it'd be a lot of fun.
Let's do it. What's that look, Jess?
Do you want to make
It's
an insight
like-
check, Jess?
Yeah, no,
Be a
I
lot of
want
fun.
to. I am.
Yeah, that was suspicious as hell. Can I also? I think I also need to do this insight check.
Oh my god.
9.
9. Okay.
15.
50, 16.
Seems as though Val is kind of like intrigued, it seems like she's interested in going. Like genuinely, like it's not like she's trying to hide anything. Like sounds like she'd be interested in going to see her hometown. Wait, what was that? Was 16? Nora?
You better tell us. You better tell us. Yeah, that was too chill, you know.
Okay, I guess we go by the river then.
Okay. So you all begin your travel.
Okay. Just FYI, Tam would have been sending messages to Gnarly at the end of, maybe not every night, but like every 2 nights, just so
Okay.
I know that we're still alive and stuff.
Okay. All right. So first day, you guys travel. Second day, you send that message. Roll a percentile die for me, please.
God, I'm rolling so badly. 9.
Like 0-9.
Oh, sorry. Wow, that was the complete wrong dice. My bad.
No worries.
80.
80.
Yeah, 80.
Okay. Yeah, it goes through and she responds and thanks you for relaying and hopes that you all are doing well. She says, nice to hear your voice, kind of just generally responds. Third day, nothing happens. Fourth day, you see far off in the distance as you're traveling along the river, the babbling stream kind of happening. In the distance, you begin to see, at first very small, but then getting larger as you continue towards it. You see a very long looking wall that, as you get closer and closer, is built up very, very high. And Augie, make a history check.
Okay.
Disadvantage because you're. Oh wait!
no.
Have you been sleeping?
Yeah, I was just
yes,
gonna
I
ask.
have.
Okay. Then no more. You're not exhausted anymore.
I was gonna
Awesome.
say, yeah,
Cool.
any night
Is this
that
routine?
Augie. Yeah, I'm just. Any
One
night
second,
that
what's
Augie
that
needs
tool?
sleep. Any night that Augie needs sleep, I would offer to do the same thing. So.
He does it every single time. 14.
14. You know that it's around the border of Clea and Carval, but also just you assume everywhere. Carval is guarded by a very tall, thick wall that encompasses the entirety of the region. The king kind of has a bit of a reputation for being a little insular, being a little safeguarded, and being very on the defense consistently. It doesn't really trust outsiders and things of that nature, so very much built up a wall around the entire city. And not just the king, this has been happening for generations and generations and years and years and years. Basically since the monarchy was first established, this wall has been built.
I guess it's a good thing we have a letter.
Yeah. While we're approaching Augie's, I'm gonna try to apply some. I'm just gonna try and make my. Well, I have the red hair, so that's good. The scar, I'm gonna try and cover up, and so just try and change my features a bit.
Okay. Make a dexterity check at disadvantage because you are on a moving cart
Fair.
while trying to put stuff on.
Both rolls are really bad. 4.
In like middle school or late primary school where people would start to get acne and then they would try to cover it up with like the color correcting, maybe it's green, but like it's really poorly done and it's starting to crack and like it's really obvious that something's there. Yeah.
Cool.
Also, I'm really sorry. I should have raised this earlier. Every time we like camp for the night, Nora's going to use the tiny hut spell.
Oh, yes.
I assumed you're good. Yeah. So yeah. Let me okay. So on the 5th day, you come up and you see before you, almost stopping, like looking out, you see the wall is now huge, like looming very, very tall, and you see in front of it, on the road in front of you, there is a long line of people. Some have carts. Some seems as though it's different people of all different shapes and sizes. Some have very, very large carts. Some have multiple. Some have embossed logos on the side of their carts. There are a couple families that are just sitting with a couple rucksacks, sitting down on the side of the road, holding their place in line. But it's a very long line. You'd say about, I'd say 30 parties in front of you, and leading up to what looks to be this large door that is shining about 200 feet out, with a small little room next to it. And people seem to be going over there. You watch as people go up to the place and then clear off to the side and kind of start. There's 2 lines, and on the secondary side, seems longer than the first actually, but you see that this line seems to be moving a bit more. So being here.
So we just hit like right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes. You know what? Side note is that because of this extended break that my college has given, I can probably see if I can find a way to make like a nice official looking map that's not on just like grid paper that I can send to you guys and make available for people that are interested.
Very helpful.
But unless you want to do anything else, over the next several hours, you wait as people are in line. I'd say the next 2.5, it'd probably be about 2.5 hours before you get to the front of the line.
Okay.
Unless you want to do anything outside of that.
We're in line. Nora's gonna like elbow Ren very lightly. So that's very nice of you. What a little arrangement you and Augie have in the evenings. That's less word in my head. You know what I mean.
Yeah, he was having trouble sleeping, and I sleep less than, well, I don't sleep. I need less time in the evening to recover myself, so figured might as well use that time to help him sleep.
It's very kind of you.
I don't know. It always worked on me, so.
What do you mean? I can't picture you and your brothers braiding each other's hair.
No, not my brothers. No. My mother used to do it for me because I had trouble meditating. It took too much schooling of the thoughts. So she would braid my hair and whatnot, and it would help. It would give me something to focus on. That wasn't, you know.
Your mother.
Yeah, I know. She was complicated.
Got it.
Yeah. I was sort of a pet to her, I think, more than anything. So this was one of the things that she would do for me that actually turned out to be sort of nice.
Nora's not going to say anything, but inside, a little piece of her heart is like, that's it.
All right.
I think
Anything else while you guys are waiting?
I'd probably go over to Augie and be like, do you mind if I just, and I'm gonna sort of, if I can, blend in a little bit of the sort of disguise makeup he was doing before, and give him a bit of like do what I can to just make him, like, maybe define his cheek. He's already very defined, but like to kind of change his facial definition, if I can.
Okay, I'm gonna say, give me a performance check. Just straight performance.
Ugh. Oh, that's actually all right. That's a 20, unnatural.
It looks okay. It looks pretty good. It's not like James Charles level, but like, you know, it looks much more natural. You didn't beat his face by any means, but like little bit of contour looks pretty good. Augie, actually, as she holds up a mirror, you kind of see a little bit of it's interesting. You see a little bit of what you used to look like before, and it also strikes you in this moment a little bit how much you look like your dad.
All right.
Ow. Wow, you're really good at this.
I've never done this before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm glad it worked out.
No, this is
You look-
really good.
You look good. I mean, I prefer you when you look like yourself, but this is nice as well.
Thanks.
You can rock it
I'm
both.
gonna little.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna keep on doing it.
It gets really rough, and I'm like, oh shit.
Sorry.
Actually, while you guys are punching, you hear a little and you see that you are the next in line, and the other car just pulled up, and you see this kind of dwindling. You pull up to the space, and you see this like very very thin looking, almost like 80 pounds when wet human man, middle-aged, kind of pale skin with a middle parted kind of oily kind of hair pushed back, and very very buttoned up, very much well to do, not wearing plate armor actually. And as you just like look at him, he's got a little bit of kind of a patchy mustache. It looks like it's attempted to be styled, but just has never really been able to. And he goes, hello, state your business and what you plan on doing and how much time you plan to spend in Caraval.
Right, hello. We're here on business. We're going to be here we're just passing through. We've got some papers, and then I try and hold my hand out for whoever's got the papers.
You have the papers, Cam.
I have the papers. Okay, I'm holding my hand up. After an awkward moment, I'm like, do,
There's
and then I give
there's
it to
a
him.
there's actually it's glass and there's a little slit at the bottom and you slide it and he kind of just picks it up with his 2 fingers and he goes, I see. Kind of sets it down and says, now, how many are there of you? I'm counting 5 and I see some intriguing animals. Just the 2 horses and the little dog. Is that it?
And that stag over there as well.
He's just like off the road, but like with us.
He's really far
Ah.
away, just there.
Intriguing. So 3 non-exotic, 1 exotic. Do you have any wares or business that you wish to be selling or purchasing while in Caravan?
None. We don't have any of that.
None at all.
Can I roll an insight check to see whether he wants me to have any?
Sure, roll an insight check.
Jesus fucking Christ. That's a 6.
This man you have no idea. He just looks as though you get the feeling that he does not like his job necessarily very much and is just here and is just trying to ascertain information. But regardless, his strange stare, you can't read either way. It just looks like he's expecting an answer, and whichever one you say is probably going to be wrong.
All right, I'll just say, well, we are potentially going to do some trading when we're in the area, but that's yet to be decided.
He goes and writes something down. He goes,
I look over at Augie like,
well, as you see, we are dealing with a bit of an influx of patrons at the moment, which causes us to be a bit more selective as those who enter our city. You understand, I'm sure.
Of course.
So we will process this in the length of, I'd say, anywhere from a day to a day and a half. Please step into the next line. If you have any questions or concerns, please hold them. Are any of you?
Is that the? Are you sending us to the line that's gonna take a little bit longer? Is there a shorter line? Just out of curiosity.
Are you asking me if I would, on purpose, cause you to have discomfort or delay your trip due to some?
No. I'm just genuinely
no.
curious. I
am
want
a
to know all about
guardian,
customs and travel.
Indeed. But make an insight check.
Fuck. 14.
Since I'm up there, can I also do?
Sure.
Ooh, that one is going to be 16.
All right. You get the feeling that, like, it's just he's sending you to the back of the line, but it also seems as though perhaps, like, you saw that there were some people that were able to get through immediately, some of the more richer people, the more merchant people, whereas the people who perhaps are, their carts are a bit shabbier kind of thing, they were sent to this line. So you get the feeling that perhaps monetary, he seems as though he perhaps is self-interested in monetary exploits. I'm a guardian. I take my job very seriously, and I will have to ask you to go to the back of the waiting area, please.
I'm gonna take my big coin pouch and just
kind of sets his pen down, Quill, and says, Ah, yes. But I'm sure as this is such an important looking document. I'm sure if there's something that I could do to help you on your way. And how much of that help are you looking to have?
I'm gonna look at Oggy and be like, 10 gold.
I'm gonna take out 10 gold.
You set it down, and he kind of looks at the money pouch and he goes, "Oh, that's all the help you are looking
I'm
for."
gonna take another 10 gold out.
And he kind of just slides it and you see it disappear under the counter. And he goes, "Welcome to Caravan."
There we go.
Mhm.
Yes, have a great trip.
Oh, we will.
Just travel if you're looking just to travel through the main road, and you should be out of the city in perhaps a day's travel or so.
All right. Thank you very much for your help.
No, thank you. Have a wonderful day. And my name is Guardian Jacket if you have any questions or need any more help in the future.
That
Kind
like
of
customer service voice is so
not even
disconcerting.
looking at you, Tam, anymore, just completely fixated on Augie, who appears to be the one with the money.
Thank you for your
Oh,
assistance.
actually, Ren, while we're doing this, can you make a perception check for me?
Yes. Let's use this dice.
25.
Okay, so you actually, while this is happening, you see about to your left, it's not very, the person in front of you, it's not very interesting, but to the left, you see that this wall it's very sturdy and it looks to be very stronghold. But actually, the outside exterior of this is not stone as you first thought, but it's actually made of metal. And looking up, you see that ivy has begun to spring from the bottom of this wall and has curved up. And over there, you see about 3 or 4 soldiers as this ivy begins to. They're going and hacking with small swords. And you watch as the ivy is going back quickly. And you actually watch. You rolled 19?
25 total.
Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah, never mind. 25 total. You see as one of the ivy things kind of like grows and flicks, and one of the guards falls back, and you see one of his buddies kind of goes like, ha ha ha. The other one stands up, dusts himself off, grabs his small sword, and starts hacking back at the ivy again. But you all watch as the doors to Carval they open outward and extend, and you are allowed to pass, you and your cart, through the wall entrance. Going in, you see that this wall is very thick, about 100 feet of it. It is not a trivial wall. This is very clearly meant to withstand multiple blows from very large enemies, very small enemies, and you see, yeah, it's actually made of stone and metalwork, and you see as you continue the material itself, it seems to be different, and as you continue, the color seems to darken, and the wall, it looks as though the wall's been built actually thicker and thicker over time. So more layers have slowly been added, making this a much heftier and thicker wall than it was originally. And you see as you get through, it goes from more steel and tough metal to it looks to be iron, and then there's just some stone, and then kind of building into more stone as you get into the interior. As you pass through this enclosed passage of the wall, there are guards on either side flanking, sitting. Seems to be some of them standing, some of them leaning on the wall. You see one of the female guards is kind of leaned up, chatting to another one of the female guards who looks like, kind of like leaning up, and one of them's kind of giggling. There's a couple that you see that are sitting on there's a big barrel and then a couple of overturned barrels, and they're sitting down playing a card game. Many of them look up and kind of just scan you and your party up and down, particularly those of you that are wearing more colorful garments as you walk in, but then eventually return to their conversations, really not paying you much mind. And as you enter this, it's getting very dark, and all of a sudden you see on the other side, it is flooded with lights and sound. It's almost a little bit overwhelming, as there is in front of you a large cobblestone main road that is wide enough for large carts and horses to pull wares and stock through, and houses and shops line either side and seems to stretch up. Really, really tall buildings stretching up and up and up, almost like they're curving in towards you at this height. And you looking up, you kind of almost get slight vertigo and come back down to the ground. It's very different from Valashi in terms of the structure and the homes. Looking to the left and the right, there you see the wall. Interestingly enough, even though you see that there are guards up on the wall, flanking, looking down on either sides, kind of wearing plate armor and what appears to be almost like, what color are they? They're navy. So you see like dark navy cloaks with them, and a sigil of what looks to be a gear, just a gear on all of their front plate. Ren, you're the only one with a passive perception high enough to notice that, particularly at this distance, though. Let me see. Sorry, good to find my notes. Turning to the left, you see the wall, and it continues past and eventually curves around and disappears into a point at the distance. And there's a very large berth between the wall and the houses there. However, the houses still seem to have shadow from the wall. And you get the feeling it's very shadowy, it's very dark and dingy. These houses on the outside appear to be more ramshackle than the ones along this main road, and you suspect as you go out and closer to the wall itself, the less fortunate tend to live. Yeah, and there's, looking up, there don't seem to be any clear pathways to the top of the wall. In the cacophony of sounds and smells of this place is very different. There are people on the sides of this main road, especially selling their wares. Not a particularly pleasant smell, like the festivals that happened in Valashi. Seems to be more of people selling items made of metal and stone. There's a little kind of like tinkering with teacups and pots and pans, and some interesting little toys that tend to walk and things of that, ball bearings. A couple people selling just smaller knives and daggers and swords, nothing very extreme or intense. Overall, the region seems to reek of this mixture of musk and sewage and almost kind of like burning rubber. It's a very interesting smell and not a particularly pleasant one, but it's everything about this city is loud, from the sights, the smells, even the people as they're barking at you, as they're not literally barking, should note that. And you see it's a mixed population, but it appears to be mostly dwarven and gnomish. Mostly dwarven and gnomish, but you see a lot of humans as well. a couple Goliaths, just for the most part, mostly dwarves and gnomes. A few halflings as well. Yeah. So, is there anything in particular that you guys would like to do while you are here?
Get out of here as soon as possible.
Okay.
Do we stock up on food? Are we doing okay?
Yeah, how
Yeah, actually.
Ren, yeah. So Ren, how much food do we have left, supplies and whatnot?
I made sure we had enough for the horses, but everyone is sort of stocked up on our own rations. So let's ask Kate. Kate, do we have enough like rations if we did a little bit of foraging along the way to make it to Kurdistan?
You have been traveling for about 5 days. So you've got enough food. It's not particularly good food due to the fact that you guys are kind of in crisis. But for the most part, like looking around, like you could, if you wanted more like fresh fruit, vegetables kind of thing, that would be something that you guys didn't really get. You mostly got like dried foods and canned foods and things of that nature, things that can travel. A lot of trail mix.
I might go to a vendor and just get enough like fruit and veg to keep us happy for a few days.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, sorry, you go first.
Fruit and vegetables, in particular fresh produce, they're a bit steeper than you're expecting. If you want fresh fruit and produce, that'll run you about 2 gold, I'd say, for about 2 days worth of fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, let's do it. Get
You get
vitamin C.
looking around. Oh my God, this is something I forgot to mention. Looking around, you actually see a lot of the vendors are dwarven and gnomish and Goliath and human and halfling. A lot of the people purchasing, there's a lot of people that are of more elven descent. And actually, Ren, you kind of get a couple side eyes as you all are traversing through the city. And there seems to be a little bit of tension in the air, addition to the sewage and the smell of burning rubber. There's just a bit of
Ren
tension.
will, at some point when he feels like nobody's watching, prestidigitate his ears to be half-elf ears like he used to.
Okay. Even with the half-elf stuff, it's still, there's a little bit of kind of just look and just...
Who's giving him these looks?
There's a honestly, like a lot of people. There's a lot of the dwarven. There's a Goliath actually that kind of looks over and Tam, as you the vendor that you got the fruit from, like as they see you walk back and they kind of see Ren, they go. Yes.
Gonna look at Ren and just be like, are people looking at you weird?
Yeah, seems so. I don't think elves are welcome in these parts.
Can you like maybe make him look? Yeah.
Human? I can try.
I don't know.
Very human though. It would be fucking weird.
That's a good point. How much
But I
you
can
feel like
try.
you have to change yourself either, but like this is
No,
a bit.
I mean,
feels a bit sketch.
I'll change my ears to look human, but I still look pretty elfy.
Yeah. You do, and
I'll do like a man bun. That's less dignified and therefore less elfy. I'll do like a man bun and human ears. See if
All
that
right.
helps.
It helps a little.
Okay.
Definitely. As you guys walk through, you're starting to get pretty tired. You gather you're about halfway through the city. If you want, you can try and press on, but you also, along this main road, you can very easily find a tavern if you want to spend the night.
Sorry, one more time. How long left in the day? Like roughly what time is it?
I'd say it's nearing about 8 o'clock at this point.
Hmm.
Because you guys got there about you guys left late, so
Right.
I've been thinking about that. You guys got there about like midday, and so I've been
Mhm.
traveling maybe about like 7, actually.
What do you guys think? I don't feel particularly safe in this city, but if you want a bed for once, we could pop into a tavern for the night. An inn or something. You're muted.
I
I'd really appreciated that.
I could really do with like a bath, to be honest. I'm just so stinky.
Yeah, how disgusting are we all?
Nora's been prestidigitating herself clean. So.
Same. Same.
I mean, we don't need to RP that if you
Yeah.
want. Like, I've
We're
been assuming. Yeah.
There's some road dirt.
Yeah. There's a little bit of grime, you know.
Well, let's find a.
It's
Find
also
an inn.
really sweaty and just gross in this city in general. So, like,
Yeah, let's get inside.
Yeah. Before we head out of the city at some point, I would like to get some healing potions.
Yeah, agreed.
so you guys find you're very easily, it's right off of the main street. You're able to find a tavern that's called the Smoky Billower.
The smoky what?
Smoky Billower.
Okay.
And it's actually right across from a blacksmith. Me with a hammer. This is me being like, what's it called? It's called blacksmith shop. And inside, you step inside. It doesn't seem to be, well, actually, there's quite a few people in here, mostly dwarven. It's a 3-floor, 3-story inn. And there's very minimal. There's a few nice glass windows. One of them is very nice, colorfully blown glass. And inside, they're very well made tables and chairs out of stone. And it looks as though it was almost like a barracks. And along the walls, there's a lot of collections. There's like a suit of armor, and there's multiple swords and various weapons lining the walls. And you go to the innkeeper, and she turns and goes, hello. How many are you? How many would you like? Drink, eat, food? You all look very tired and starved. I'm happy to serve you food.
We're 5, and I think, we would like some dinner, if that's something you can do.
Yes, of course. And she goes and brings you all some stuff. For those of you that eat food, there's a selection of stewed pork and oat bread, or eat meat. There's stewed pork and some oat bread. And then for those of you that don't, there's some wheat biscuits and some cheese that looks to be, it's pretty nicely made. The bread is a little, the bread is actually very good. It's got the little bit of rind on the outside, and then the inside's nice and warm.
What's on the drinks menu, Kate?
I was about to ask that.
What kind of thing would you guys like? Are you looking for more ale? Are you looking for wine?
Like a stout? Like a Guinness?
Yeah, definitely got
I'd
dark
like a stout ale, please.
All right. Let's see. Let's do. So there's a couple different things. There is this one called Pint of Bread that looks very, very thick and hearty. Kind of like a very, very creamy, more looking beer. There's also I mean, you see that they kind of more specialize in kinds of ales and lagers, but there's also a really nice one called Black Forest Brew, which is it's a very dark looking ale, and it's a little frothy. In the thing, it kind of has a little bit of a good heft to it.
Can I have one of those, please? Second one.
Of course. And for the rest of you?
I'll have pint of bread.
Lovely choice. It's one of my favorites. I also have some for I don't know, fruity things. You look as though you aren't particularly looking for ale per se, more of a refined taste. I'm sure that we have something of that nature for you as well, if you're interested.
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to assume you just look more a bit looking for something more refined.
I'll try a pint of bread. I don't know.
Oh, here you go. And for you too.
Sure. I'll have what he's having.
All right. Another pint of bread. And for you, and she goes, could I have some of the one that Tam got? And she said, the Black Forest. Yes, of course. And gives that out. All together, I'll say for the food and the alcohol, I'd say that runs you about for 5 of you. I'll say 65 copper pieces was a lot.
Oh, got it.
The whole.
I'll do it.
Cheers. How much is a? Sorry, how much is a room for the night?
Are you looking to
Yeah, if you have
we
any
have,
space.
we have 2 different styles. The first is we have a large sort of communal space that you can stay in. We have cots set up. That will run you about I'd say believe the standard rate is about 5 copper pieces for the night. If you're looking for more individual rooms, those are a bit more expensive. Those can fit anywhere from 2 to 3 people. That will run you a silver piece per person per night.
Should go by ourselves.
Yeah, let's maybe stick to the private rooms.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 3 left. How many would you be requiring?
How many beds per room? Sorry.
Oh, there's a 3-person and there's 2 persons. So
A 3-person and a 2-person then? Since we are 5.
Math, yeah.
wonderful. So that will be 5 silver pieces for the night. Then.
I'll get this one.
Are you staying in Caraval for long? Is this your first time? Is this?
We're just sort of passing through.
Lots of people seem to be doing that these days. What was the sudden amount of all of a sudden with 2 towns occupying one space, there's quite a lot of
Oh, is that what's happened here? There's been a collision.
Yes. No, it's been very fortunate for business per se, but for in terms of food and space, we do tend to be quite a bit of, that's my house. No, that's my house. We were very lucky that we happened upon to be located upon the main road, and for some reason there seems to not be a lot of people coming through the cracks around this road. But as you get further out, I had a cousin once, and he lives quite a bit away, about 335 blocks down, and his house, it just grew a tree, and we didn't know what to do with it. And we were just like, oh, I don't know. And so, he's staying in one of the rooms for right now. But
Well, that sounds pretty awful. Poor guy.
just a bit. It's been tired, but again, good for business.
Oh.
You can see, and she kind of points around at the very bustling tavern. She goes, I have my regular clients, and then I have some new ones. Some that need to take the edge off after long days.
Where
Makes you, we are Calavalian. What?
where do the new ones come from?
The new one? Oh, they came from, well, they were always here. They were just here in a different place. It's very confusing. I honestly don't understand a lot of it. It's something to do with the big explosions that happens. Gosh, a few weeks ago, a week ago. Wow, it's been so long, but it's been so short. Yes, it's been an interesting past couple of days. 2 weeks now, I think.
Well, if there's... Oh, wait. I know hope everything settles down for you.
Well, I hope not. I mean, I'm making lots of money, but I would appreciate it if people would stop having so many fights. It gets rough after a while, you know?
Mm.
Yeah. Those tavern fights, especially when it's crowded, I can only imagine.
Oh, goodness, yes. No. So, fortunately, this armory is just for show. Also, that doesn't stop some people, and kind of looks over at one of the patrons, and he kind of just goes back to sipping his drink.
Well, thank you very much.
And if you need anything, my name is Ditsa.
Dixa. All right. Thanks very much.
Ditsa, Dithe, but said in a Caravalian accent, so it sounds weird.
Is
kind of
this individual dwarvish or
No, she's actually you would almost think so, but she's actually a very short human. Given by the ears, kind of she's about what Jess? I didn't say anything.
Like,
No, but yeah, very short, but she's middle-aged. She's got a few kind of straggling gray hairs kind of sticking out in random positions, kind of curled back into a bun, but seems to be just doing her business and goes back to wiping down the bar.
Right.
So you all finish your drinks and your food, and unless you'd like to do anything, head up to the room to sleep.
How we divide
kind
the
of-
rooms?
How are we dividing the rooms?
Mm.
I don't know. I don't have a preference.
And kind of says, well, do you want to do like all the animals in the room with like, I don't know, maybe like me and Tam, and then you two can split like 2 person. I don't know.
Absolutely. That's a
I sort
fucking
of
great idea.
I
Love
sort
it.
of assumed that there would be like a stable for the like large animal, like the horses and the stag. Is there?
Can
a
ask.
stable? Okay, I feel like this would have happened before we came in because it's like parking your car versus leaving it running.
So they were outside.
Okay. Okay. Well, can we pretend that when we came in, I was like, "Do you have a place for the animals?"
Yes, there should be one. It's about 5 blocks down. You can probably go there, and there's a place that you can stow your animals for the night. It'd be about, I'll say for 3 horses, about, I'd say 3 silver pieces,
Pay parking. All right.
and
I'll
they're
make it.
fed with that and taken care of.
Sure. So can we just say I did that before we sat down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does
So
that
then-
mean that
Does not say that.
PB&J is still with us?
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Sick.
yeah, you actually look over and you see that Val is kind of letting people, like, Val isn't paying attention to her drink anymore, and PB just kind of like using his tongue to like try and get in there, but it's a tall glass and he's a short dog, and so he's just kind of like not really getting anything, but still trying. Just
You're so
forgot we
cute.
were streaming for a second. Oh no.
Yeah. All right. So Val and I in one room with the dog, and the rest in the other.
Sure. Sounds
I'm
good.
cool with that. All right, Tam, you know that means 2 truths and a lie. Here we go.
Question: does Augie sleep in a separate bed from Ren, and does he sleep with that? Is what happens? Now that we've made this a thing.
Yes. He definitely starts the night off trying to be like, and then like he's trying to be like a big kid, trying to do his own thing. He's like, no, I can't do this. And at some point, just kind of gets into bed with it. He's like, sorry.
Fine. I wasn't sleeping, obviously.
All right. You all wake up the next morning. Nora, you wake up and you see your 2 friends kind of just cuddling.
This is canon.
All right. You all wake up and head downstairs. While not as busy as it was last night, it's about, I'd say, early to mid-morning. It's about 8 o'clock. Looking around, still surprisingly is pretty full. And even going to bed last night, you realize you kind of went to bed still hearing talking. It seems as though there was a either people stayed up all night or there was a consistent influx of people, but you're able to grab a nice hearty breakfast for about 2 copper pieces. You can each get some really nice porridge with some what looks to be kind of dried fruit. It's functional. It's not bad. Probably could use a little sugar, but it's for 2 copper pieces. It's pretty good. And you all collect your horses and animals and head out. Then takes about, looking around, it's still, across the street, the blacksmith shop is already belching out smoke, and you hear the churning of gears, and everyone, it seems, even though it's already like 8:30, everyone is already still out barking, selling their wares again. It's very cacophonous. Everything is very loud in the city, but getting out is much easier than getting in. And whereas there was almost an interrogation and bribery. Oh, yes.
Healing potions first.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. I thought you guys are just leaving. Yes. So there you go, kind of, and there's... one sec. Okay. So actually, make an investigation check for me, Augie, because you are
Alright, oh no.
Can I help him with this?
Please.
Sure.
I got 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't do a lot better, but 14.
14. That is much better than a 4.
I rolled an 8.
So looking around, there doesn't seem to be much, but there is a very kind of amidst all the barkers selling their wares, you see this almost like kind of shriveled old man. Looks he looks actually like a human, mid 70s, very very old, kind of like leaned over and kind of, oh, you want to buy health potions? Okay. And he goes down and he picks up and he goes, this one I made these myself. He goes, this is just standard healing potion, but I have this one. And he pulls it up and it's slightly bigger and he goes, this one is much greater. And he goes, this one I can purchase you. I have 2 of these. Then he goes down and picks up the second one. He goes, plops, and he has 2. And he goes, 25 gold each. And he reaches over and he goes, the greater one. Goes, that is very great. It's about 300 good pieces. But it's great.
Can Ren tell if any of these, but especially the greater one, look legitimate? Like,
Look
just
legitimate?
Yeah. Like, do they look like potions he's seen before?
Make an insight check.
Insight?
Or yeah, because you're trying to discern the quality of.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Insight. All right. Natural 1.
These look so legit. These look so real. They look.
I also
How much or how many of the regular health potions did he say he had?
2, and then he has 1 greater.
I rolled a 13.
13. I mean, they look homemade. They're very clearly homemade. There's stuff spilling out the side and stuff, and he seems to be holding them with such a genuine, like, with such pride. You get the feeling that they may not taste as good as like a run-of-the-mill healing potion, but they'll probably do the trick.
Yeah. I'll get. They're 25 each. They're normal.
And he kind of, can you afford that?
Yeah.
Oh, great. They're 30 gold pieces each.
You said 25.
Did I?
Yes.
I think I said 30.
I looked
You said
around.
20.
Did you hear?
Yeah, you said 25, and if you keep pushing, I think you'll actually have said 20.
I'll say 25.
Yeah, you said 25.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
oh, I'm sorry. I meant 25 with the purchase of the greater. So, if you get the greater, then you can get these for 25, if not 30.
Sure, why not?
Fine. Okay. I'm gonna get 60.
Kind of takes it and like pushes it, and you just barely grab him in time. You're like, oh. He goes, now would you like, are you interested in the greater healing potion? Only 350 gold.
I think we'll be fine with these, but this has been lovely.
Mm.
He kind of, not even taking his eyes off of you, puts it under the counter.
I'm picturing the disguised old man in Aladdin. Do you know what I'm talking about? The old man in the jail.
Amazing.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yes. Just like older and a little bit more senile, like probably missing a couple teeth.
Boy,
Yeah.
oh boy. When Augie's not paying attention, Ren will slip 60 GP back into his thing because Augie keeps paying for shit. So I will mark down 60. And
All right.
Augie, you
One,
mark down.
yeah, I definitely noticed this. I mean, don't notice this. I know perception.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
your passive perception is 11.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, for the hell of it, roll a stealth check, Ren.
Sure. This could be 27.
Yeah.
No idea. No idea.
I rolled a 19.
Good job. Wow. All right. Yeah. No idea. So you all continue. And again, anything else that you guys would like to purchase or do while you're here? Okay.
Nope.
So getting out of the city, again, much easier getting in. There's no questioning as you exit. They seem to be very relieved that there are less people inside the city and kind of just push you out. And there's kind of the wall again is that very, very thick wall. Yeah, just thick. It looks similar to the other side. And the guards, as you were leaving, pay you no mind. They're just kind of like,
Where were we pushed out?
yes. So you'd be pushed out right at that. See that little hump above the R of Caraval?
Oh, that little one?
Yes. Along the main road.
So, this one? Because are we following the river?
Are you guys following the river?
Yes.
Okay. Then okay. It's the same place all around. But okay, yes. So then you would be pushed out near the river. Okay. My bad. Okay. So for my notes, are you guys going to follow along the river and then cut right, or are you going to try and make a straight like path to Oliver's? If you follow the river and then cut over, that'll add about 4 days extra travel.
Is the terrain particularly rough? Like, if we were to do the diagonal thing, like, is there a reason we wouldn't, basically?
You said you wanted to follow the river.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, when given the choice between river and main road, but given the choice now between a river and a diagonal, I think maybe diagonal, unless there's a reason we wouldn't do that we would know about.
Is it the diagonal that's shorter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So yeah, the doors slam behind you, and you all take a moment to breathe. And there's almost a slight ringing in your ears as you realize for the first time since entering the city, a moment of silence falls across as you realize this is the first time that you aren't being bombarded with smells and noise and just the overall overwhelming loudness of the city. You guys want to take a quick break? Because that's a really good break point. All right. Let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back at 8 o'clock, or whenever you guys time zones are weird. So 5 minutes. Really quick.
Okay, cool.
All right.
See you guys in 5. We're back!
Yay! All right. So we just left off. Wow. All right. Just left off with TAVRN leaving Caraval, heading towards Oliver's house, workshop place, deciding to take the diagonal along there. Before you, though, as the gates close, in front of you is a wide, sprawling, grassy hill with a long dirt road that twists and turns across the moving landscape, the river flowing to the left of you and going off into the distance. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting an orange hue across a large, expansive plain, and in the distance, you actually can see just barely a grove of trees that seems to stretch out for miles. Ren, this is a very comforting sight for you.
Yes.
So you guys are deciding to follow the road?
What was the name of the town we were just in? Did we ever ask?
You were in the region of Caraval.
Oh,
So
like,
Oh, it
actually,
was just a big region.
the thing about Caraval is that the entire region is covered by the wall. So unlike some other places, like with Valashi, there are other smaller towns. Like the town of Valashi, it's kind of like New York City in the state of New York. You guys are in Valashi. It's like Valashi.
oh, yeah.
Caraval is just one big cityscape.
Oh, all right, gotcha.
Cantale is a very huge, expansive region with a lot of really smaller towns.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
So in terms of whether we're following a road, if we're doing the diagonal, is that a road?
So technically with the diagonal, like that, the main road travels through Cantale and kind of links all the rivers together. So there's a couple different routes, but for the most part, the road does seem to go on that diagonal for the most part. It just has some twists and turns with the natural geographical makeup of the place it's traversing.
Then let's do that.
Okay. So you spend the rest of the day traveling across this very wide plain, watching as the trees in the distance slowly get closer and closer. Actually, no. Physics-wise, you wouldn't see the trees for a while. You just see them as like very, very distant. You see something in the distance, and as you get closer, you see that they're trees. About the time that nightfall hits, it's about 8 or 9 that you finally are able to hit the tree cover just before nightfall. So you have the option to, you can either go into the forest and take camp there for a little bit, or if you'd like, you can camp on the outskirts of this place.
You guys know what I would prefer, but
In the trees? Yeah, I'm down for that. I feel like being undercover is a better option than being out in the open.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. So you go in, make camp with a tiny hut. You see, as Ren visibly is able to relax a little bit, no longer being inside the dank and kind of overwhelming and claustrophobic city, now is able to kind of breathe. Val is kind of able to breathe easier as well. Kind of running around, running fingers and nails across the trees and the tree bark, kind of just enjoying the feeling of the natural elements.
were you able to get fruit, vegetables? Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I I throw Ren a Satsuma. And I lob a banana at Augie, and
I know.
So
I
the
was
right
like, what?
size.
it's
What
like
is the
a
satsuma?
it's like a very small orange.
Oh, like a
Fix my
mandarin?
mind.
Yeah, like
I
a
was like, satsuma, awesome.
yeah, it's like a peel, like an easy peel.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Give one to Maroth as well if he's down for it.
Very quickly.
Nice.
Like no peel, like no disregard for the peel or anything.
Wow,
You see a little bit dribbled down, and kind of.
that's freaky, but I like it. Good for you.
All right.
So far out are we at this point? Like, how many more days of travel do you think?
I'd say you have a little bit. You just like that was about 6 days, so just about a week left. You're about halfway there.
Okay.
Little bit. You have a little bit over halfway there, or a little bit under halfway there. You have a little bit more to go, and then you'll be halfway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think maybe as we're settling down, I'll just sort of bother Nora for a second. Probably both just eating some satsumas, this word I just learned. So, how are you doing? I know you weren't super gung-ho for all of this.
Like how am I doing? Like as part of
Being on the road, being on the road and in danger.
um uh I'm not dead, so yet I guess.
Yeah, actually, I'll hand her one of the potions that Augie and I got and be like, here, this might help prevent that happening again.
That's a good idea.
We'll just let you hold on to that one.
Yeah, I think the whole cave thing and the vampires and basically I think I get that no matter what I do, weird shit's gonna happen. So I should probably stick with my friends.
I think that's wise. At least we can protect each other in the weird shit.
Yeah, I'm working on that, so
Just so you know, I know we sort of talked about this, but I think that the magic you do, it comes from a place of good. I know you learn it in books, but I don't think you'd be able to do it properly if you didn't have intention behind it. So I don't know. I know you're feeling weird about magic right now, but I think it's good what you do.
thanks.
Certainly important to us. I say, looking at our tiny hut.
Yep. To be fair, this is pretty useful.
Mm-hmm. Good shit.
Maybe I could like make it deadly.
Make it a deadly tiny hut.
Yeah, no. Well,
You could just make the outside poisonous or something. Maybe not the inside.
fix like spikes or
Spikes would be fun. Yeah.
spikes would be fun. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah. At this point, Val comes out and goes, "Hey guys, my watch."
Sure.
Yeah, I'll stay up with Val. No worries.
You sure you don't want to go to?
Yeah, no, I keep you company.
You just slept. I mean, I feel like if you don't sleep more, you're gonna get exhausted or something. Like
Well-
you're gonna be exhausted in the morning.
Well, don't do it by yourself.
I it's It's fine. Don't.
No, I insist. I'll stay up. It's okay.
Roll a deception check for me. You're not technically lying, but your intentions are
Okay.
not. You're not being forthcoming.
I'm 19.
What is her insight? She's a druid. 1 second. Okay. She goes, like, she kind of looks at you for a second and goes, kind of, her shoulders go down a bit and goes, okay, you can stay up, it's fine. I just didn't want you to, be tired, and it's fine. Whatever you want to do.
I'm just gonna read a book, work on some stuff. I won't disturb you.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever you want.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You spend the time. Do you?
She reads a book, but she keeps one eye on Val.
All right. Roll an insight check for me.
Insight?
Yeah.
Number 17.
She doesn't do anything. She stands out, keeps watch. Yeah. Overall, kind of doing that, but you get the feeling that she also is very aware of your presence. Her shoulders look a bit down, looks a bit defeated. Kind of gets the feeling that you kind of I won't do this in a whisper, it's fine. Get the sense that she knew that she gets the feeling that you don't trust her.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's kind of she's nervous now. You get the feeling that she's on edge because yeah.
Okay.
Hey man. All right, but nothing happens.
Cool.
And then third watch.
Augie and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nora, you're gonna take a point of exhaustion.
Okay.
Oh my god. Am I the only one who hasn't taken a fucking point of exhaustion voluntarily?
I don't know. Do you want to take a point of exhaustion? I don't think Val has.
Oh yeah, no,
I
I
could be wrong about that. Not this session, at least.
There's always time. Yeah, during our watch, I'm gonna take a kind of good look at Augie and be like, "You look a little bit better."
Yeah. I slept.
Yeah, you weren't doing that for a while.
Yeah.
What was that?
I mean, it's been overwhelming these
Yeah,
past few weeks.
I know. It's been a lot.
How have you been holding up?
Yeah, I mean, weirdly, I feel like all of this has given everything a little bit of clarity, or I don't know, perspective. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, things that felt like a really big problem before don't, because now we've got far bigger things to worry about. I don't know. But I don't know, I feel happy that we're traveling. I feel comfortable on the road, and I don't know, I feel happy with all you guys. Best place to be, really.
Oh, I'm gonna give another little punch on the start.
Roll initiative.
Oh shit.
The warmest, earliest episode. We're so cute.
I'm gonna, after we've done a bit of whatever, like wrestling, I'm gonna look at just Panchogi and be like, look, you know, if you ever feel like you're at a point where the only thing you can do to deal with things is to not sleep for like 3 days, you know, just talk to me or talk to one of us, because you look, I love you, but you look fucking wretched.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Mm,
Alright. Promise?
promise.
Alright. Thanks. Alright. And then we just continue.
You all wake up in the morning to Val is actually cooking breakfast for you all. She has some eggs and kind of is like, oh, hey guys, just figured I'd make some food for everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah, you know, I started working on some really cool recipes that you know, I was working with at the guild, and I don't know, I feel like, you know, we've been doing this for a while and we've been eating lots of like kind of weird stuff. So I found some herbs out earlier. I went looking for those. You know,
Can
that's
we
the stuff.
check the food?
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
fuck is
roll an
going
insight
on?
check.
What the heck? Natural 20.
It's really good. There's a little touch of black pepper and salt. You get that she got that while preparing for the long journey. It tastes really good. Like you kind of smell it. She kind of sees you out of the corner of her eye and continues giving it to the rest of them. Tastes good. You feel a little guilty afterwards because it tastes really damn good.
Okay.
Sal's a good cook. So you guys continue traveling for the day. Val kind of makes a point to sit on the opposite side of the cart from Nora, kind of giving her space.
It's like when you minus your friendship points on The Sims.
Yes.
She rolled. I rolled for her insight, and she's a druid, so she's got good wisdom, and so she was like,
Fair enough.
ah, and she's had that self-confidence issue in the past of people not trusting her, so she's now on edge. But it continues into the day. Nothing particularly eventful happens. Next, unless you guys want to do anything, next day comes around. You're still traveling through the forest, and it's very peaceful in a way. It's almost looking around, you know, it reaches this point where no one's really talking, no one's saying anything. All you're listening to is the gentle movement of the trot of the horses and the movement of the cart. And looking around, you hear the sound of birds chirping, seeing leaves falling from trees in the distance. It's getting colder, actually, you notice, and the trees seem to be almost autumnal in a sense. As far as you can discern or tell, the Feywild makes things a bit wonky, but it's really peaceful, and you spend the day kind of just looking at that. Around noon, Ren, you notice first comes the sound. It's barely detectable at first, but then you hear it. It's ever so faintly. You just hear the sound of
Like wings.
yeah.
Like get down, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down.
Okay. Make a perception check for me now.
Is it like big wings? I'm assuming if I'm hearing.
Yeah, you get advantage because you're in your favorite terrain.
Oh yeah. Ooh, Oh. Perception? 25 again.
Okay.
God.
So
Like 19.
looking directly above you and kind of like over towards the direction of the noise, you see a large, dark figure just above the cloud cover, moving very quickly and smoothly in the same direction you are traveling in. And you see as this massive form dips just below the cloud cover, and you see this coarse surface, kind of rounded like a very portly belly. And kind of you look for scales, and instead you fearing that it might be a dragon, but instead you see what looks to be almost like wood. And you realize that this isn't a creature, but it almost looks like the belly of a ship sailing through the clouds like they were water. Just as you kind of breathe out, it disappears back into the clouds and disappears away from view.
Did any of the others notice this?
If you took the time to point it out, you guys would have seen just barely dipping under the surface, like what almost like a figure, like a big, and then lifting back up. And probably you would have heard the noise after Ren pointed it out to you.
A fucking flying ship.
Holy shit.
Cool.
Is that a Feywild thing? Or is that just a thing that I haven't seen before?
Never seen anything like that before.
No. Have I seen anything like that before?
Make a history check.
It was headed the same
Nora,
direction.
I could say you can make a history check as well.
I'm proficient in history.
Okay. No. That wasn't me saying that you could roll. That was just me acknowledging that you are proficient in history.
Ooh.
I already got an 8.
Okay. Oh, wait, I got 23.
23.
Cool.
Augie, you have not seen this kind of thing, but you've heard stories and fables in the past of kind of like bedtime stories that your mother would used to tell you about sky ships and sky pirates and kind of swashbuckling. There's a story that you used to learn of an adventurer who would traverse the sky and the wave, kind of looking out as a swashbuckling air genasi buccaneer.
That's some stardust shit.
Yeah,
I like it.
Captain Shakespeare.
God.
Do I remember the name of, like, do anyone like remember any specifics?
Yes. Yes. The book was called The Tempesto of the Sky. And it was about an air genasi named Lei, Lei, and his tales as a swashbuckler and kind of all those, that kind of very cool.
So cool.
Wow.
Just stories, though.
Was the ship heading the direction that we've just come from?
Yeah. Or it appeared to be almost like heading in a similar direction, kind of coasting from the southwestern part of the continent towards the more northeastern part.
Okay.
Oh, so
Where
it's
exactly the
headed-
destination you came.
Okay, so it's headed in the same direction we're going.
Yeah. As far as you can discern from the very brief instance you saw.
That's so cool.
I'm gonna give all this information back about Lai, the Genasi, the stories, the tempesto of the sky. Any of you read those stories?
No.
I don't think so, no. It doesn't feature an elf, so no.
document.
Well, he's really cool.
Is he real?
I hope so.
Mhm.
I mean, it was in a storybook when I read it, so I'm not quite sure.
Sometimes
But all
stories are
stories,
actually based on reality.
exactly.
Mm.
Was he a good guy in these books?
Um,
Kind of a Robin Hood-esque figure, like not necessarily like would do bad things for the greater good. Yeah, very. He's a pirate. So, Augie, for you, your dad was always like that. It was like a story about a villain, but your mom kind of told it as a more fantastical adventurer going around doing things for the greater good.
no, he's really cool. He's awesome.
Chaotic neutral. Chaotic good /
What a good way to put it.
Well, cool.
That's cool.
Wish we had one of those.
Yeah. That would make it a lot easier.
Let's get one. When all this is over and everything is back to normal, let's get a skyship.
Just
Yes.
on to garden on it
Please
because
let me Sky Pirates. Oh my god.
sky pirates, but there will be a garden because we won't be able to camp in the forest anymore.
Well, we can land, we can just land in the forest and have like camping trips.
Like glamping,
We can glamp. Oh my god, we can
Yes.
glamp in the forest.
like RVing with our sky ship.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I like that finally after a year and a half we've got like an aim.
Right, just to glamp the sky ship. That's
our
my
new-
like actual real life goal right there.
Yes.
Real talk, I've been waiting to show the skyship off for so long, and I'm like,
It is the coolest thing ever.
Oh my god.
all right, okay. So, what?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I guess we just keep going on our little dinky cart.
Yeah, so you continue on your journey a little bit energized by the sight that you just saw and a little disappointed at the lack of transportation from going from this whimsical like, oh, what if, to all of a sudden realizing, oh yeah. But you continue on into the 9th day and the 10th day and the 11th day and the 12th day. On the 12th day, you decide to make camp for the night. It's gotten pretty thick, the forest here. It's much thicker, and you're actually having a little bit of time pulling the cart through. It's slowing down your progress quite a bit, and out of frustration, you guys are like, you know what? We're going to stop. And so you set up, running not too low on food. You've got enough for about half a week left of rations. Val takes some of the time though, goes around, finds a couple herbs, does some foraging. Oh yeah, without a problem, and is able to bring back some really nice stuff and is able to spice it up a bit. Can we do watches for tonight?
Sure. I'll take first watch.
Okay. Val's like, I can do second. If anyone wants to do it. All right. And then who wants to do third?
I'll do it.
All right. First watch. Ren, roll a perception check for me.
Another 19 for 25 again.
Oh,
That's
my
an advantage
goodness.
because we're still in the forest, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're good.
20.
We're in the thick forest.
Thick forest.
Like 3 C's kind of forest.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're sitting there kind of tired, the fire, kind of just watching the fire crackle, keeping an ear out, and in the distance, ever so faintly, off a ways away, you hear the sound of just a slight sound of a fiddle playing.
Gotta look around to make sure Tam is like with us. Just jamming at the
You poke your head into the tiny hut and you see Tam falling asleep, drooling. Kind of one hand splayed over Val's stomach, who's also snoring. Lots of snores. Nora's
So
not having
elegant.
a time.
Okay. Does Ren remember hearing tales of this sort of thing being normal in the Feywild?
Roll a history check.
Okay. Is that also with advantage? Intelligence and history?
I'm gonna say not with advantage because this doesn't really have to do anything with being in the forest.
Right. 14.
14? Not really. Not anything like in particular. Like, you know that the Feywild, there's tells of songs and there's lots of music and revelry associated with it. But not necessarily anything in particular comes to mind.
You said this was pretty far away?
Yeah, I'd say about 50 feet off a ways or so.
Okay, I think Ren's just gonna like listen to make sure it's not like getting closer or something ominous like that, but otherwise he'll just like tell the next person on watch about it, but do nothing.
Yeah, you hear it. You hear fiddle playing. Hear a couple other things. You hear some laughing. It's not anything particular. Just like you listen. It's a pretty jaunty jig, and then there's one that gets a little slower and calms down, and you hear some whoa. It's very faint, not enough to wake anybody else up, but just enough to keep you on alert.
Yeah.
All right. That's the only thing that happens on your watch. So then it was Val and Augie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Second watch? All right.
Yeah.
They come out of
Can you hear that?
For what?
Do you not hear the music? There's like music.
One sec. Not for 20. She kind of, yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it? But sort of creepy also. We're in the woods and it's the Feywild and
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
I don't.
do you not
I
hear it?
didn't. I mean, no. I can hear it.
Val starts kind of just like bopping. Totally.
Maybe we should just. I'm gonna go meditate, but while you guys are on watch, maybe you should just sort of make sure it's not, I don't know, coming closer or getting rowdy or anything we should be worried about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just keep an ear on it. I'm going to sleep. Not sleep. Good night.
Right.
Good night. No, it's
She
kind of like upset.
Yeah. No, so watch as Ren goes. Val's gonna turn to me like, so do we want to go check that out?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But wait, do you have your stick?
Yeah, and she runs and grabs her stick and she goes, yeah.
Because I got armor.
Oh, wow. That's probably really uncomfortable to sleep in.
Yeah.
Oh, did you just put it on for...
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Makes sense.
Like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got this. Should we take PB&J? I don't know. Should
No.
we... No.
No. No.
Okay.
I'm gonna give Phoebe Data like a sleeping Nora
That
and
no,
just
that
kind of push Phoebe and Jay up against Nora's face, take Nora's arm. Just
Or
like
like,
Jay kind of just like starts cuddling those. All right. Do we tell the other? Do we just go? I mean, like, I'm cool with either way. I
don't know.
I mean, it just sounds really fun. So I was just
yes, I do
Yeah.
think Tam would get a kick out of this.
oh my god, yes.
I'm gonna give Tam a little flick.
Hey Tim.
Mute. You're muted.
What
What
is
that music?
Come on.
Yeah, what's that?
You don't
Is that-
know.
Is that a party? Is there a party in the woods?
I don't know. You wanna go check it out though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but we should still be stealthy because we don't know if this is like a trap
Right.
or a wild trick.
Oh,
But
is this
I say the more
okay.
the merrier.
She's gonna before even she's like, got it. Yes, got it. And she's gonna boom down and cast pass without trace. So you guys get
Good
plus
idea.
10.
Stupid.
All right. It's a party in the woods. Let's go. Let's just check it out. If it looks really sketch, then we can come back and tell the other two.
Okay.
Let's go.
Maddie does this a bunch and then rolls her dice, right? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to try.
Oh,
So it's plus. Okay, so it's.
it's
yeah,
plus
it's
10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
19.
Oh, God. 17.
Val rolled a natural one. No cap. That is 100% real. Okay. So you all go and you sneak quietly. Val kind of like at one point she goes, "Oh my god, I know this song."
Shh. It's a really good song, though. I agree.
And you guys continue walking. Looking over, eventually there's kind of this hill that crests down and there's like a little valley below, and down there you see right before you get there you see like the kind of crackling of fire, and you hear it's much louder now. They're playing a jaunty, what almost sounds like a jig. You hear now it's more than just a fiddle. There's multiple instruments happening over here, and you look down and you see a very interesting scene. Make perception checks for me.
No.
Wow.
What?
Oh no. 10.
Okay. Tam, you are just enthralled by the sudden amount of joy and music, and you just are absolutely bopping with the music and the colors and everything. Augie, you see there are 4 figures. One of them appears to be kind of levitating above the rest of them. One of them is sitting down on the ground, appears to be holding a stick with a white blob like over the fire. And there are 2 that are dancing with each other back and forth, kind of like around the fire, kind of just the one levitating you see is playing the fiddle, while 2 of the ones that are dancing, one of them is playing the flute and the other one is going hardcore on the guitar. The 4th one is kind of sitting down on the fire, toes tapping, kind of dancing around. You hear laughter, and it's a really joyful scene. With a 10, you don't get a lot of they appear to be dancing around the fire with their bedrolls splayed out, and some logs that are kind of pushed around in a formation. Music is lively and joyful, and they seem not to notice your presence. They're each playing their instruments and dancing around each other, weaving in and out. It doesn't look like it's choreographed, and it doesn't look as though they're performing for anyone. it's just catching a traveling group of artists enjoying themselves, and just they seem to all have this absolute sense of joy on their face, and genuinity doesn't seem forced or anything. And she's like, and Val's like, this looks so fun.
Should we go? Should we go and
Should we
drink?
go?
I feel I did. Should we go without the others?
They might like that. They might like this as well, or they might be really suspicious and not want to go.
I really want to go. Like, not even like I really want to go, but like
I want to go as well.
I don't know. Do you think Nora would like it, or do you
I think
think
Nora would kill us. I think she'd actually murder us.
she'd kill me?
Well, now that just
But maybe it's worth it.
no, okay. Now that I am thinking about it, we don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
We don't know where they're going. What they're here to do. We don't know their intentions.
They don't know our intentions either. Like,
Maybe they just want.
they want to go.
She wants to go, Augie.
Okay, how about one person goes down to just check them out while someone else stays back. And if anything goes down,
Nothing will go. Okay. All right. I agree.
Good plan. I'm down for this.
Val, do you want to go?
Well, but I don't know. You like music and stuff. Would you prefer to go? I don't.
I mean, maybe if I went down and I was like playing as well, it wouldn't look as weird.
That's
Like
so
maybe
smart.
I'd be like, "Hey, I'm also like a musician."
you're just gonna walk down the hill playing whatever instrument you have,
Yeah.
hoping they accept you with open arms.
Maybe they're looking for a drummer. I don't know.
Maybe they don't have one.
Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think maybe we're being a bit rash. But I don't know. What's the worst that could happen?
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Is there any indication on them of like where they're from?
Roll a perception check.
That's going to be a 19.
19?
Yeah.
They don't necessarily, you can't necessarily tell, like, they're not wearing, like, any formal kind of, like, guard uniforms or anything, but they do all appear to be, elven in descent. But all different kinds. Yeah. With a 19, that's actually much clearer. Do you want me to give descriptions of all these people? No. Yeah, you can just tell that they're elven in descent.
Okay. I'm not making this decision. Whatever you guys decide to do.
I look over at Val and look at her happy face, and I'm like, ugh, I can't say no to that.
Yes.
Let's
do it.
go. Let's go.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna stay up here in case anything sour happens.
All right. Okay. Keep an eye out. We'll be back. We'll just say hi and then we'll come back.
Okay.
All right. So we go down.
Okay. So, are you playing an instrument or something?
This is such a stupid idea.
This visual of her coming over the hill with whatever instrument.
No, I don't think I will.
Okay. So, as you approach, the first one you see is probably looking up. You see the one levitating, and it appears to be a wood elf with bark-like textured skin, floating slightly above the rest of the group with his feet crossed, and seems to be absolutely shredding it on the fiddle, just absolutely having the time of his life. It's a really jaunty tune. He's wearing an incredibly busy paisley silk shirt that is very low cut and is mostly brown and copper with flecks of green, and tight hugging like brown leather pants. Like he's very, very, very much bisexual, kind of fashion is what's going on. His hair is a copperish hue and is cut short, and there's a streak of blonde running from the hairline and meets in a well-trimmed coif. Next, you see there's a woman playing the flute, and she has a short bob that is colored a bright pastel pink and is covered in a large bedazzled brimmed hat with jewels and gems hanging down around the sides. Her makeup is surprisingly simple and understated and looks like sparkling constellations smattered across the face, but it draws attention to her brilliant, like, blue eyes that dance in the firelight and a large pearl encrusted on the side of her cheek. She has long ears that extend back with twisted metal and gems snaking along the cartilage. And her ensemble seems to match with the flashiness of her hat, with a sparkly, loose black top that exposes the midriff and flashy, loose pants that are dripping with gems and bells, and they seem to jingle as she sways in the music. Next, you see the guitar that is the guitar player next to her. And she's playing the flute kind of really intensely. Next to her is the guitar playing, and you see this is a drow with short silver hair spiked similarly to the wood elf playing the fiddle, and is not wearing a hat, but he does have a very elegant, flowy, simple black dress shirt with translucent sleeves, and they show his like toned arms underneath, and he's wearing a matching black skirt that creates this really minimalist but really stunning effect. And lastly, as you approach, you see the figure leaning down, holding the stick with the marshmallow, roasting it. You see it's a woman seemingly taking a rest, and while she's breathing heavily and sweating, her mouth is fixated in just this huge grin, and she's tapping her foot. She's dressed similarly to the flute player, but in almost inverted colors, with a brilliant sparkling white top that exposes the midriff and bottom, which contrasts to her tan skin and show off her very toned abdominals. And her hair is curled and swept into a simple high ponytail with tendrils of hair kind of framing her face nicely. And they're just absolutely, as you guys approach, they go, "Well, hello, travelers. How are you doing?" And they kind of like, wait. Hi.
Hi. This looks
Carrick.
fun.
And the guy playing the fiddle kind of finishes and goes, "Well, hello. Hi."
Hi.
Comes down, still levitating with his arms, his legs crossed, and says, "Hello there. You guys come far?"
Yeah, we've come from a couple of weeks away, really. What are you guys doing out here in the open? Just having a play.
Yeah, I mean,
Shut up, Jess.
Maleficico. We are, we're a band. Very exciting. Yeah, welcome. Yes, sorry. Come in, and they kind of like welcome you in. And one of the girls, the girl that was sitting down, scoots over, and she says, "Do you guys want any marshmallows? Anything? We're happy to."
Oh, I think we're just kind of curious. We're just coming to say hi, but yeah, if you're offering, then sure.
And Val's next to you goes, "Yes." sit down. And guys kind of sit down. And,
So you guys are from this area. Are you from the Feywild, or are you kind of the other
at
side?
this point, you see the flute player with the pink hair kind of does this twirling effect with her flute and kind of places it back into a sheath that her flute is
That's
sitting
hot.
into. Thank you. I mean, you're not too bad yourself. We were playing a Wandering Prosper a few weeks back. And, kind of, I mean, I don't know if this is weird, but there was this big kind of like explosion thing, and we woke up and
Yeah, it was
okay, cool.
bizarre.
Honestly, I was like, I didn't do any like mushrooms or anything. I was like, this is normal. But we kind of just went with it. But no, yeah, we came here and we're traveling. Kind of just looking for work, looking for life. You guys are the first people we've seen, so kind of exciting. But
yeah, well, it's nice to just come across a group of people. We haven't seen that many people for a while either. It's just my group and I.
Oh, you got more than just you two? And Val has kind of got like 3 marshmallows and goes, oh yeah, we got a dog too. She goes, really cool. Yeah. I mean, we're just having a party. You guys should come. Like, you guys should come hang out.
Yeah, I think we will. I mean, we were just in the middle of, having to sleep because that's something you gotta do. But anyway, no, I mean, like, we can go back and just grab the others and I'll hang out, just play with a Wonderwall and,
I don't know if I know that one.
It's really good. It's from Hegel, where it's like it's.
Do you play?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's hot.
Thanks. I mean, like, I can give you a bit of a demonstration if you want.
Yes, and kind of like looks over and it's like.
Yeah. Sure.
And actually, right there, we're gonna end this session. We'll pick up with that next time because I have to go to work.
Okay.
But
oh boy.
Thank you guys for being with that.
Most sexually charged conversation we've ever had in this campaign. And we've had was the most sexually charged conversation we've had, including all the interactions with Gil.
Oh, I don't know if it's that much.
And that is how you seduce. All right. So we will pick up when we pick up maybe next week. That would be ideal. That would be a dream. We'll see.
Yes.
But in the meantime, we want to say anyone out there currently dealing with the current kind of medical issues, we love you guys. If you need anything from us, like, we got you. So happy that you guys were able to join with us and kind of experience kind of a more lighthearted session. And hopefully we'll get to play again soon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Stay safe and healthy.
Stay safe.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Well, with that, we're going to say goodbye for now. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you hopefully soon. Bye. Bye.